it or not. You know, you can't make it to the next paycheck on one paycheck now.
Absolutely not. So what do you do?
If two paychecks don't work it,
I think with the coming problems with Social Security...
And who brings up the kids, and what happens? You know, you've got this whole thing
ultimately
so that you can screw it really up. We're screwed up enough.
Yeah.
What do
You see, you're in my peer group, and I understand where you're coming from, but I really think that if you had the kind of premarital training, you could adjust to this very easily. In other words, and I think this kind of premarital training should be an option. It is not in this society.
Look, in our day, we had trial marriage.
You did?
Was it the same as your open marriage?
I don't believe in open marriage per se, and I think open marriage may be the wrong kind of title for this in terms of it, but I'm offering committed relationships and saying here are all kinds, including a marital relationship where you have a woman or a man, in your case, in another family that you are very much involved with, but you're not interested in destroying his family or yours. In other words, you function as loving units in addition to the one you're married to.
When he goes out, he tells you, and you've met the woman with whom he is going out.
I don't want to know.
But see,
you don't. Hang on a minute. What?
How are you going to train for this? You mentioned training. How will you train people for this?
Well, if you had the right kind of premarital training, such as inherent, and I can't go into it in detail here because it would take too long, but really, if you went to a college where you found your first roommate was not one of your own choosing, and you were in a constant human values seminar, because I'm very much interested in values. I'm interested in morals. I just had a novel published called The Immoral Reverend, and I think that what we have to learn in this society is how to exalt the sexual relationship. Make sex a sacrament, not just marriage, but sex.
Hi, are you there?
Yes, hello, Phil.
Yeah, you probably like this idea, huh?
Well, my wife and I are Christian people, and I realize Christian people have a lot of different ideas than a lot of people that are what the church would call out in the world would be, but my wife and I sort of had an agreement before we ever got married. I've been married for 2 years, and you know, it's all right to look, but you can't touch. We realize that people see beautiful people out when you're shopping or when you're out.
There's going to be somebody that might distract you.
Yes, exactly, and I probably have that problem more so than my wife. Women are distracting me, but she realizes that I'm going to think that someone is beautiful, and I'm going to look.
Why do you suppose that is the males, are they, huh? They're not monogamous? The males are less monogamous than the females?
No, I don't think so. I don't think that's true at all.
Hang on a minute. Listen, there are some folks here who might want to call your attention to the fact that it's often the professed religious person who's capable of the most hypocrisy. We're not speaking of you, of course. Well, we're not. I don't mean to... Come on. Here are Murray and Ann Needleman. 23 years they've been married. How about that? 2 kids. You're pleased by that. That's a kind of a 4 on our meter here. That's not much of a hand because you're not sure about this. They have, what do you have?
We have, Phil, what's called a conscious relationship, which brings into that relationship an outgrowth of what Ann and I are, what we're all about.
What are you?
We're 2 people that care about each other, that are very committed to our relationship. And out of that consciousness, we have choices. Choices to do as we please in our life, choices to deal and to communicate, choices to be with each other, choices to have friends.
And choices to see other people intimately.
If we choose.
Right. You were married for how long when you suggested this to your wife?
10 years.
You must have died.
I'm the detail person.
She takes care of the details.
Okay, Ann. You are the detail person, huh? You must have been very upset.
At first, I was.
What did he say?
Well, he just wanted to start. He wanted to open up the relationship. Well, that's not exactly what he said. How did you say it? You answered that.
So
Wait a minute. You're the detail person, Ann.
I am. But
Go ahead.
We were doing a lot of things then. This was in the 60s. We were starting to get involved in encounter groups. We're getting involved with our own creativity, and changing careers, doing all kinds of things. So this grew out of our own growth. It was a piece of our own consciousness, Phil. And out of that, I came home one day with the suggestion to go away to a workshop and starting to hang out with like-minded people, or people who were starting to explore themselves, people who wanted to take a chance, take a risk.
All right, and you'll get to it now. We're waiting. What happened, Murray?
We started to meet people who were asking the same kinds of questions that we were.
And we helped to form a support group.
Yeah, but if, he had to say, I want to see someone else. Come on now, don't bounce around here. Let's get to it. Didn't he say, I'd like to see another woman?
Yes, but...
And you had to be crazy.
I thought...
Maybe she was glad to get... Maybe she was glad to get rid of him, he said. Come on. We're trying to make sense. So you don't mind a little humor, huh? I don't know where we get these audiences. Go ahead.
I really wasn't pulled in kicking and screaming. I trusted Murray. We have a very trusting relationship.
But aren't you the couple? Didn't he bring someone home and he actually introduced?
No.
Oh, well, who am I thinking of?
You're thinking of...
You're thinking of you. Okay, we'll talk to you in a moment. So all through this 23-year marriage, to which you are primarily committed, is that how we want to say this?
Yes.
This is your first responsibility.
Always the first responsibility, and that's part of the whole thing, Phil.
We want to move through life together.
I understand.
And we always wanted to.
Now, but if you meet someone that you would like to see, go to dinner with, and whatever may transpire will transpire according to a mutually agreed upon, whatever happens will happen.
That's right.
Yeah.
He knows where you are. Is that it?
Yes,
You don't cheat.
No. We have structure. We can be able to say to each other, next week or 2 weeks, I'd like to make plans. And then he has, or I have, the same option if we want to.
Yeah.
And that for us worked.
That has to be emphasized.
Yeah, and we really don't advocate it for a lot of people because it really doesn't work for many people.
Yeah. So you're the old flower child, then. You don't mind my saying that, do you?
That's right.
And a lot of your peers from the 60s divorced, didn't they?
Yes.
How do you explain that? I mean, how come you're still here and holding hands and, you know, you look like right out of the church choir here, the two of you.
Because that... and for a nice Jewish boy...
synagogue, what do we want to say?
You
nice look like guest at Seder. All right, go ahead. You had wanted to say.
Because it's... we've always been flexible. We've always cared about each other, and what we do grows out of a lot of things that we do, Phil. It's not unusual for us to, in one sense, have a white picket fence, a dog, and 2 kids, and on the other sense, involve ourselves with people mutually who care about what's happening today in the world. The statement that we're making is in many respects to support what happens in monogamous relationships. The fact that if you can talk about some of the things that we have to deal with consciously and caringly and with an open heart, you can talk about these same things or lesser things or things that don't require as much intensity in a traditional marriage.
And also, you feel that you get information from the other people with whom you may socialize. Is that it?
Not only that, not only do we get information...
In other words, you talk, the conversation you might have with other women is important to you.
It's extremely important because it opens up the authenticity between the two of us.
Makes you a better husband, does it?
It makes my life about intimacy more extensive.
Yeah.
I have a question for both of them.
Sure.
At what age did you marry?
I was 20 and he was 21.
I just turned 22.
You were 22.
Don't you think that if you'd been 30 and he'd been in his 40s when you first got married, and you'd had all those years before to play around and discover...
Get it out of your system.
Exactly.
Yes.
That you would not need to do this now.
That could have been.
Why do you have to get it out of your system?
It isn't a question of...
Hold on.
Okay.
I'd like to know if your children know about this. Did you tell them and how they feel about it?
We're as authentic with our children as we are with each other.
Well, first of all, what she said about seeing someone young, I got married very young. I'm dating the same man I'm married to since I'm 14. We share a lot, we talk a lot, open in the extent where we'll express that we're only human. And yes, I'm attracted to a handsome, good-looking guy, but I'll look, and that's exciting. But I'm not going to go to bed with him. And he feels the same way. He'll look at girls.
Yes, ma'am.
You know,
I'm listening and I'm thinking to myself, it's very difficult for a single woman to find a relationship. And here you are, a married woman, and you're talking about other relationships. And just a minute. I am wondering, at what point in your daily ongoings do you decide, or weekly or monthly, this is the moment where I need someone else? Likewise with the husband. What is it in the personality that says, at this point in time and space, it's time for someone else?
There is no need. There's just choice. And it really is, for us, as we talked about with structure, it's very occasional.
Because our own relationship is so tight, and when that need comes up, we make sure that it fits the situation, that it's not just something that grows out of some crazy emotion, that it's something that's meaningful, that it's worth going out, because our commitment is so strong that to go out means that it has to be a special event or a special occasion.
Are you there? I'm glad you called.
Yes, I'd like to know why all multiple marriages have one husband and 3 wives. I'd like to have at least 3 husbands.
She's saying the guys usually get the multiple partners, while the women have to acquiesce to the male's interest in more than... You know, the women seldom have 3 men. A woman seldom has 3 men. That, she's also implying that you may be having more fun than Ann.
At this point, I don't think either one of us are having
more fun
because we're practically monogamous right now.
You are.
Yeah.
So seeing other people is not the feature of your life that it used to be.
No, that's true.
You're merely here as you're making a political statement that...
The feature of our life is what we're doing and how we bring it to the people we work with and the people we live with.
Okay.
Because we're also psychologists and marriage counselors.
Jenny is here. Jenny has been married to Phil for 11 years, and you have an open marriage, although I assume you two are, you know, you don't like the connotations of open marriage. What does this mean now, Jenny? 11, you have children?
No.
Okay. And how did this... Oh, he suggested to you, did he?
Yes.
How long were you married before that happened?
I've never been monogamous with him. I met him when I was 18, and when I was 20, we started living together. And the condition of living with him was that he always felt strongly that he wanted to be able to pursue other relationships. And I accepted that condition because I felt he was, you know, my one and only to grow old with.
Was it understood that you would have the same freedom?
Yes, absolutely, yes. And we lived together for 2.5 years, and then we got married.
Right. This had to be difficult for you to accept his seeing other women.
Yes.
Now, he's the one that brought the woman home to meet you, did he?
Yeah. Well, we didn't have a car at the time, and she came to pick him up, and I answered the door.
And... What's the matter with you people? Why don't you...
No, I'll tell you something that was very, very striking about the meeting was I was terrified knowing that she was coming, and when I opened the door, it struck me that she was so nice. And it struck me that she was intelligent, and she was kind, and she was attractive, and I thought, well, if he was going to see anyone, it makes sense that it would be someone who would be interesting like this, and she became a very good friend.
I've been married 16 years, and I don't want to share my husband with anyone else. Didn't it bother you when you see this woman walk in? And weren't you afraid you were going to lose him?
Yeah, the first time I was. And I have to admit that when he came home, I was real surprised. And when you know, he assured me that I was still his #1, you know, that surprised me. And after, this did not happen instantly. This did not happen overnight. This took time. And now at this stage, I have no doubt in my mind that I'm not his everything, and I'm, you know, not in doubt at all.
This doesn't sound like marriage to me. More, it sounds like boyfriend and girlfriend, something that happens when you're young. When you're married, it's a bondage between 2 people, as far as I'm concerned, and it just sounds like 2 kids to me.
Great play.
The thing that bothers me on the deal is we really haven't got into the children's aspect yet. And you all mentioned once that you had children. And it bothers me just a little bit because when children are young and growing up, they need a little bit of stability someplace.
How do you answer that? Needle.
Well, the stability has never been the question. The kids know what we're involved with. They know that our commitment to each other is sacrosanct. They know that we love each other. They know that we openly express our feelings about each other. A long time ago, we both made a commitment to our children that we would never and have never lied to them. And as a result, we have two beautiful children who are very stable people.
Over here, please.
Jenny, if you weren't married to someone who had asked you to have this kind of a relationship, is this what you would really want?
I was 18 when I met him. I'm sure I'd be in a traditional relationship had I not met him.
You'd be in a traditional relationship if what?
If I had not met my husband.
And you wouldn't be as happy. Is that what you want to say?
No, I'm sure that if I never heard about any of this, I would be just like everyone else in this audience, I think.
Shocked.
Sure.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, and I think that there's a real misconception here. I feel as if you don't believe I can be in a committed, loving, trusting relationship. I can. Any of my friends could tell you that. Any of them. When they have anniversaries, I cheer them, and when we cheer each other on. And as they chalk up years, I do too.
But what's the improvement with this arrangement? What do you have in your judgment? I know you don't want to pass judgment on other people, but what's better about your situation than the traditional monogamous commitment?
I wouldn't use the word better. I would say different. What's different is that when I meet people, either sex, I have the ability to explore a relationship with them if I choose. And that can either be a movie partner where we'll go to the movies once a month and be able to stay up and over coffee and discuss it at length, or go away for a weekend if we choose, and have that not threaten the stability of my marriage. My marriage is very important.
How does he feel?
Hang on a minute. He is not her husband. Her husband isn't here. But he doesn't have a relationship. Hold it now. This audience is ahead of this now. David Talbot is involved in an open relationship, although not with Jenny, I don't think. No. You're a contributing writer for New Age. He's a contributing writer for New Age magazine. He's reported on this phenomenon and is honest to say he's also experienced it. Hang on a minute, David. I promise you we will talk to you in a second. Are you there? Hi.
Hello.
Yeah.
I've been married for 20 years, and 3 years ago, my husband started an affair with my best friend, and I finally caught them last year. And now he wants this open marriage. How do you handle something like this? How do you get through each day? We've been to counselors. They've told me that he's going to do it again, and he keeps saying, I love you, but we've tried separation. It hasn't worked. And at this point, I'm just contemplating suicide. I can't handle this. What do you tell your friends?
Yeah, let me just say a couple things. Do you see a therapist at all, or do you have any professional alliance?
I did for a while.
Well, it certainly sounds like you should see one again. I mean, you certainly owe it to yourself to do that.
But how do you start accepting this? How do you?
Yeah.
What do you tell your friends?
The second thing is that I don't know whether it's realistic to expect a whole lot of help from a television show. But I want you to be glad you called, obviously. I'd like this to be a positive experience for you, obviously. How does Robert Rimmer speak to this agony?
I think she should try to find another man, but I don't know, it's... it's very fascinating to me that this audience is so monogamous in their statements and everything else, in their applause, but we live in a society where the divorce rate is 50%, and it's really a tandem polygamy society. And the average length of a monogamous marriage in this country is 7 years today. So, the kind of relationship...
Can I interrupt for just a second? One of the things this caller might want to keep in mind, I don't think this isn't going to make you feel this much better, but one of the points Mr. Rimmer makes is that the difference between you and millions of other women is that you caught him. Now, I don't know whether there's any... Do you know what I mean? You're not alone here.
I know. But how do you explain to your friends? What do you say? Tonight's her turn with him?
Don't worry about your friends. In other words, Phil, this man may be able to love you and another woman. If he says that, accept him on that premise for a while and see what happens.
Well, you can't...
This is not...
I've tried, and every time he leaves the house to go see her, I go insane.
Hang on, what? What'd you say?
I've tried that. I think, well, it wouldn't be bad. Maybe I'd be the one taken out to dinner and flowers and treated like the mistress. But when he leaves the house, I go insane totally
Because you're worried about what he's doing.
because I can see the images in my mind.
Yes.
Have you met the other woman?
She was my best friend.
Have you talked to her?
Yes.
She knows about your pain.
We helped her through her divorce. Obviously, he helped her more than I thought. But, oh yeah, she knows, but she says she won't give him up.
Yeah.
And he says he loves us both.
Yeah. May I ask you a personal question? How old are you?
I'm 44. My husband's 42.
Yeah. If I can just... What?
I think one of the points of this is that you have a situation here where the woman, one of these partners, is not interested in doing the same thing that the other one is. Now, if Mr. Rimmer, with all of
There's
his...
another thing we should say. There's clearly one member of this relationship that is more needful than the other, that is more dependent. And mothers everywhere should listen. This is what feminists have been warning us about all these years, and they've been whistled at. They've had their sex status questioned. You know, the women in this culture have been placed in this kind of vulnerable situation. And who wants their daughter at age 44 to be in this spot?
All women have been placed in that situation because of the feminists and everything else. And the point is...
The feminists have been blowing the whistle on this.
Whether they are or not, they may not want to go along with this concept. There must be one, they must go along with it, both of them.
Yeah. You can't say must. She's in pain. She doesn't want... Hang on a minute.
Just can we get back to the show?
Well, not really. Not with this woman on the line here. You know, anybody want to talk to her? You want to talk to her? Who wants to talk to the woman? Hang on. Yes, ma'am.
I would just like to know if she has said to her husband, you have to choose. Has she given him that option?
Have you given him an ultimatum?
Yes.
What'd he say?
Definitely.
Huh?
We go through, yes, most definitely. I said, you have to choose, you have to decide. And then he came back April the 7th, and we made it for 10 months, and then I began to catch on that he was calling her, and he was starting to see her again. And we started at it 2 weeks ago, and...
yeah. Well, you know, at 44, you are a young...
He has wanted to play
what?
3 to a bed. He's always had this fantasy, and I kept saying, no, you just don't do things like that.
Phil,
Yeah.
we're psychologists, and we deal with this in therapy, this kind of thing. Ma'am, it's very important that you get yourself some support to find out where your strengths are so that when you approach your husband, you're able to talk to him from a place of consciousness so that he begins to see that there's another level to which you two can negotiate. And also, while you're not looking, what's happening is you're getting stronger, you're getting clearer, and at that point, he may decide that he has to make a choice, and then at that point, you two can rap about it.
Right. But you have got to get strong. If you are the only needful person in this relationship, you are going to be clobbered. And it's really mandatory that you should see someone as long as you're feeling that.
Yesterday, that we were discussing it, and I said, no, I cannot accept this open marriage. I've tried. I've really thought about it and tried. And he says, you're being selfish. You want everything your way, and you don't care about anything
The audience
else.
does not believe you're being selfish. The audience believes that you're taking care of yourself, and they'd like you to be stronger so that you can be more effective in doing that. You will, pardon me for this interruption, I have no choice.
Thank you.
You will see, you feel a little better that you called.
Oh, not too much, because you didn't
What?
tell me anything I didn't already know.
Yeah.
It just, you know,
All right,
I just wish I didn't love him.
get a job you want. I mean, we got all kinds of free advice
I do.
here for you.
I own my own business.
All right, I thank you for calling, and
Thank you.
I'm sorry to have to interrupt.
Okay, thank
We'll
you.
be back in just a moment.
Come on! Wait, champ, the men need food. Where's the Ragu pasta meals?
This canned spaghetti.
Joey, these are the guys. I can't feed them kids food. Here we go. All right.
When kids outgrow canned pasta, they're ready for Ragu pasta meals. They love the hearty pasta, thick Ragu sauce, and that great taste you don't get from canned.
This is great. Hey, we cook, we play ball. Who needs girls? Hey, stop it!
Grow up to Ragu pasta meals. Great taste you don't get from canned pasta.
You know why Post Natural Raisin Bran tastes great?
The raisins!
Right.
They're naturally
sweet.
Right. So there's no reason to sugarcoat them like most Raisin brands do. Post Natural Raisin Bran. Great taste doesn't need sugar coating.
Right.
Why do people who use extra creamy Cool Whip like its rich, smooth, creamy taste? For a very simple reason.
Because extra creamy is extra creamy.
Do you need to lose 35 pounds fast? Then let me show you what's happening to people here at the Weight Loss Clinic.
When you're overweight, you miss out on so many beautiful things in life.
At the clinic, Deb Pentenberg lost 120 pounds and went from a size 22 to a 7.
Thanks to the clinic, I've kept the weight off for more than 6 years now. Thank you, Weight Loss Clinic.
It seems like since I've lost weight, my husband and I have more fun together.
At the Weight Loss Clinic, Josephine Kleiber lost 73 pounds and went from a size 20 to an 8.
At last, I've solved my weight problem once and for all. Thank you, Weight Loss Clinic.
For a limited time only, we have an exciting special offer at the Weight Loss Clinic. Enroll now and we'll give you the entire month of September free. Call the Weight Loss Clinic near you for all the facts on this exciting offer. You'll get September free if you enroll now. Remember, you can lose up to 35 pounds quickly and safely if you start today. So call the Weight Loss Clinic now.
I want you to meet David Talbot, who's, as we have established, is a writer and has written for New Age magazine. In fact, it was that article that called our attention to this. David also has an open relationship. How do you feel about what you've heard here?
Phil, I think what that woman was just talking about is crummy. What her husband seems to have done is to cheat on her basically for a while.
And then ask for permission.
That was not an open relationship.
But then he's asking for permission.
After the fact, Phil, after the fact. See, the whole point I think we're trying to make here is we should plan for that event. We should be honest about it. We should be open about it. But to spring it on her suddenly like that and then to put her through all that pain, I think isn't worth it. I would break up with him, frankly.
You know, it's easy for you to say. I understand her. 20 years she's with this guy now. You know, you can't just orate like that. You have to have some understanding for the hook that's in there.
Of course. It's worth probably going to a counselor. It's worth working on. Yeah. But at some point, if the two aren't compatible, she should split.
Right.
That's
right. But give us, what is the, bring us your overview here. What's good about this?
All right, I'm with a lot of people in the audience here. I maybe don't even belong up on stage here. I'm jealous often. I go through a lot of pain. I imagine, like the woman said, my lover in bed with somebody else, and it's terrible. The two women that I'm involved with now have also been through similar experiences. But in summary, let me finish. Wait a minute.
Crocodile tears are flowing for you.
It is, Phil, it's the worst possible system except all the others, like democracy. It's the worst possible system except marriage.
You are not married. You are not married.
I'm not married. I'm in two very committed relationships.
Well, it's a whole different thing, she say.
It is not a whole different thing. I feel a deep responsibility. I feel very deep commitment to both those women. Hello out there, by the way. They're both watching.
They are.
Yeah.
Now, do they see other people?
Yes. From time to time, I think
do they see each other? What do they? Do they what? Do they?
These two women with whom you have the committed relationship.
Do they know each other?
Are they friends?
No, they are not friends. They don't want to know all the details, frankly, and I don't either. I'm not.
Do they have a sexual relationship with one another?
Do the two women?
No.
No, well, but that brings up an interesting point. What I did, it started as a feminist experiment when I was in college. This was not a male fantasy. The origins of what I got involved with were women did not want to get married back in the early 70s. That was a trap to them. And the people, the theorists, the people who really dreamed this up, in my experience back in college days, were the women. And I think that should be stressed. This was a feminist experiment.
You mean one guy isn't enough for women?
Marriage, I think a lot of women here has a lot of traps to it. Let's turn it back in the audience a bit here, because I think there's a little hypocrisy going on here in the audience here. I think that a lot of people claim to be true blue, one and onlys, and get it on the side, basically. I think let's
That's right.
Let's be honest with ourselves here.
Phil.
And we'll be back in just a moment.
All natural Breyers ice cream presents the screen test. Now, bring your vanilla ice cream right up to the screen.
Ah, the leading brand. Now, read the ingredients. Guar gum, carrageenan. Well, my Breyers has nothing but milk, cream, sugar, and real vanilla beans. It's all natural. Here, try it.
And now sorbets swirled in Breyers vanilla ice cream, new blueberry strawberry sorbets in cream, and new lemon sorbet in cream.
I knew there was a reason I was putting it off.
Ethan Allen's summer sale.
Now I can get the night tables and a 4-poster bed.
A chance to dream and get just what you've had in mind.
A buffet.
At very special prices with our free decorating service.
Wing chair, wallpaper. I can see it.
Ethan Allen's summer sale for the interiors of your mind.
Uh-oh, floor's wet. Looks so shiny.
A lot of cleaners look shiny, wet.
I shine.
But they dry, streaked, and dull. Well, not with new Mr. Clean. Its special formula dries virtually streak-free, so your floor looks shiny wet even when it's dry.
Uh-oh.
It's dry.
How'd you do that?
How'd we do that?
New Mr. Clean leaves your floor looking shiny wet, even when dry.
The rugby shirt is a fashion classic, designed to look good even under the most adverse conditions. And right now at Target, men's rugby shirts are just $12.99. Women's just $9.99. Just $8.99 for boys and girls. The rugby shirt from Target. Fashion that'll stand up to the most action-packed event of all, going back to school.
I have two things to say.
Oh, say one. Okay.
All right. One?
Yeah.
All right, then why bother getting married at all? If you're going to commit yourself...
Thanks.
I just want to make a distinction. Mr. Remmer said he thought we were a very monogamous audience. I don't know if that's the case. To follow up on that last point, I think that what we're saying is that in certain situations, basically, I lost my train of thought. Let me hold it.
What amazes
I'll
me.
get back to you. Listen, it happens to me all the time. Yeah.
Yes, Phil. I'd like to know if the emotion is stronger in your relationship with your husband or with your partner.
Yeah, where is it? Yeah.
With the husband and wife.
I'm sorry, I didn't catch that.
Which is the stronger relation? Which is the stronger emotion? The emotion.
My husband. Absolutely. He's my primary relationship. I consider my other one to be a secondary relationship, and it's always kept on that level. If there's ever a problem of overlap, the whole thing stops. We both have veto power to say, I don't want this to happen. I'm threatened. I'm scared. I'm jealous.
Over here, please.
I think David hit the nail on the head when he said that no matter what relationship you're in, you're always jealous. It's human nature to be jealous, possessive, and I guess I question, just because you're honest in an open marriage, I don't know how happy I could be, even though I knew. I still wouldn't like the idea.
Yeah. I have a question for the couple up there. When you said the need presents itself, what is the need that you two feel that you have to separate from each other?
We didn't say that the need presented itself. We talked about choice, and that if we ever did meet someone and wanted to even go out to dinner or go dancing, and we really don't focus on the genitals.
You see,
and
that?
I think that's an important issue. You don't need an open marriage for that. I have plenty of friends that are males, and if I want to go out to dinner with them, my husband would understand that. But there's nothing sexual that's going to happen.
But the point is that the option is there.
Yeah.
There's so many
for sex.
For sex.
But it doesn't have to be.
That's a very minute part of what goes on, and that has to be emphasized.
I'm running out of time.
Just wonder, there's so many problems with marriage anyway. Is this a safety valve or an escape?
Neither. It's a choice.
Yeah, what do you think?
I feel that it's an escape, and I feel that if more people worked on their marriages, and especially after 10 years of being married, if you would have worked to strengthen your relationship, you would have done a lot better.
No one has worked harder than
I feel it's up to you. You're married. Whatever you want to do, you do it. I mean, it's your life.
Yeah. And isn't this a marriage of convenience for the man to have it all?
Well, I don't think that's necessarily so in this case.
Well, I mean...
Well, they both see other people. It's not... accuse them of whatever you want, but you can't call it sexist. They both have equal
Phil,
freedom.
Hang
on just a minute.
Okay.
Murray, I thank you. I know that
I think it's disgusting, and I
Really?
think
It's a horrible example to set for your children. Because, then what happened to the way it used to be?
Yeah. There is one little problem with this kind of lobbying. It isn't for most of us, no doubt about it. We've been raised in a monogamous culture. That's our ideal. But we cannot get away from this. We appear to have celebrated monogamy as the ideal and gone out of our way to make it very, very difficult. We have certainly not prepared our teenagers for their own sexuality. We surround them with erotica. We are totally absorbed by Danielle Steele and all that kind of fantasy. And then we expect, and not only that, we expect celibacy, and then the wedding night, when, you know, the 4th of July is supposed to have, you know, and also we do have people out there behind the newspaper not talking to their wives and husbands.
That's true.
We have people living in crowded isolation, never talking to each other. What? Work. You gotta work. Is that it?
Every day of your life.
The moon, spoon, and June. Work. I thought this was supposed to be, you know.
Marriage is work. It's every
Doesn't
day.
Mr. Right come along and make everything right, huh?
Yeah, you have
He
to.
does?
He does, but you have to keep it right. You have to give and take on both parts.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And we'll be back in just a moment.
I want my Serta.
I want my Serta.
Here's why people want their Serta. Why they're spoiled for any other mattress. Only Serta goes beyond just being firm. Beyond what others do. We top our support with the extra comfortable Serta surface. A unique difference you can feel in a Serta Perfect Sleeper.
Marvin, I want my Serta.
My new tub made of fiberglass was installed by men made mostly of dirt.
Using a liquid cleanser?
I guess I have to.
Bet you'd like to use Comet.
I love to use Comet. But see this label? Abrasives may scratch.
But this label says safe as a liquid.
I wouldn't bet on it.
I would. Today's Comet has no harsh abrasives, so it's safe, it's tough.
It's beautiful. Do you do kitchens?
Today's Comet, as safe as a liquid, as tough as Comet.
We're in Boston at world-famous Maison Robert restaurant. And we're secretly replacing Robert's freshly ground coffee with mountain-grown Folgers crystals. Will it be rich enough?
It's delicious.
It's Folgers crystals.
I'm shocked. Because, I tell you, he only drinks fresh brewed. He's been talking about how great the coffee's been tonight.
This tastes like fresh ground coffee.
Mountain-grown Folgers crystals. Coffee rich enough to be served in America's finest restaurants.
This tastes just like fresh brewed to me. I can't believe it.
LensCrafters has a better way to make your glasses. Our laboratories are right here in the store, so we can custom grind your exact prescription in about 1 hour and make adjustments right on the spot. Listen.
We had them faster and didn't have to wait.
The shortest time and the best pair I've ever owned. Eyeglasses within an hour and very good quality.
Got him in an hour.
Go in and get a good pair of glasses in an hour.
It's a better way to get your glasses.
LensCrafters. Quality eyeglasses in about an hour. Burnsville Center, Southdale Center, and Lomans Plaza, Roseville.
At ITT Technical Institute, we hear that our electronics courses are demanding. But a lot of our graduates say that they've found challenging electronics careers. Maybe we are demanding. And maybe that's why ITT Tech graduates are in demand. We want you to succeed.
Call ITT Technical Institute at 341-2221 for this informative brochure. 341-2221.
You there. Hi. Go ahead.
Hello?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm 33, and I was raised in Boston, Massachusetts.
Yes.
And, I didn't even know I was on. I apologize. And I was very much into the Herod experiment. And my husband and I got married after 3 years of living together. Yeah. We finally got out of it. We decided this was not for us. He ended up about 7 years into the marriage having an affair and not telling me. We did get divorced. We're very good friends to this day. But what my point is, I admire very much Murray's and Ann's relationship. Because to me, now, at 33, I grew up. I'm not afraid of commitment. And that I see that Ann and Murray, they really worked at their relationship to get where they are today. Yeah. And it takes a lot of courage.
You're single now.
I am. But
you want a monogamous. You don't want any more messing around, do you?
No. No. And I think, and I really want to say another thing. I am in a relationship.
Where's the joy? Why? It sounds like, something painful and a labor that people don't like, When they talk about marriage, boy, it's painstaking, it's hard, it's work. Where's the lust? Where's the passion? Where's the excitement there?
There's been a complete...
You know, it's true. We have people stand up on this program and say, we're married 38 years.
Yeah. Big deal.
Here she is sitting right next to me. Through floods and pestilence.
There's very little talk of intimacy.
We're still married. And by God, we're going to be married for the rest of the day. They collapse from exhaustion. Where is the joy? What, you know, it's like, huh? What?
There's a lot of joy. I don't feel like I'm working. It comes naturally. I have a beautiful marriage.
So, so here's the point. Why is there anger directed at these people?
Well,
you know what? I think we're afraid this is going to catch on, and there goes our spouse.
It will catch on for some people, but you still have your people that enjoy their married life. It's not a job. It's not tedious. It just comes naturally. You love each other. It works.
So does ours. Ours comes naturally, too, and as committed as you are, we are, too, and I don't hold judgment on you.
There's almost no talk about intimacy. The entire focus has been on genital fear, and in all probability, Ann and I probably go out a hell of a lot less than most people who do when they're cheating.
Okay.
And that's a fact.
I think these panelists are really just trying to say that you shouldn't necessarily accept somebody else's or society's definition of marriage.
That's what they're saying.
And if that woman...
Hang on a minute. Yeah.
I think that we're taking two different things. We've got marriage on one hand and relationships on the other.
Well, shouldn't they be together? I mean, a marriage is a relationship, isn't it?
Yes, it is a relationship, but however, you can have relationships with your friends that don't have to be the same as your marriage is. Your marriage is an intimate thing that is with you, your wife, and your kids, whereas you can have a friendship. I've got some people that are very dear to me, and it doesn't have to be a...
But you wouldn't have anything. That's as far as it goes, I'm sure. Yeah.
Yeah, there's 32 of us here from Missouri farms all over, and we don't have time or energy to do things like that.
You show me a farmer, right here, and I'll show you a person who doesn't fool around. Yeah. You know, the reason farm wives are not jealous is that, you know, he can be gone almost all day, and you can still see him. Yeah.
I'd like to ask Murray,
Yeah.
if Ann had not gone along with your suggestion, what would you have done?
We had a high level of cooperation prior to that, and if Ann had not gone along, and when Ann or I have not gone along with each other, we've closed up our relationship completely. The primary focus has always been the sanctity of our relationship and what's going on between us. If there was ever any kind of a problem, whatever we've done has stopped.
Yeah.
Was open marriage, is that just a new terminology for wife swapping?
No, it's a very poor terminology. It's almost a wastebasket term for people who want to cheat, fool around, swing, anything else. It says very little about being conscious.
And we'll be back in a moment.
Even when the fish aren't biting, I am. And there's nothing I love nibbling on more than this 100% natural Kraft cheese. See, it's different from most cheese products you'll find these days, because there are no artificial ingredients, additives, or preservatives. 100% natural. I'm hooked. No wonder America spells cheese.
Peel it, bend it, stretch it. Kids love it. 100% natural Kraft string cheese. It's new.
I knew there was a reason I was putting it off.
Ethan Allen's summer sale.
Now I can get the night tables and a 4-poster bed.
A chance to dream and get just what you've had in mind.
A buffet.
At very special prices with our free decorating service.
Wing chair, wallpaper. I can see it.
Ethan Allen's summer sale for the interiors of your mind.
Citrus Hill Select's big new 96-ounce jug. It sure got a whole lot to love.
Citrus Hill Select gets its freshness from the heart and puts it in a jug, but that's only where we start. It's resealable and shakeable and doesn't make a mess. Your family's gonna love it cause it helps the juice stay fresh. Shake, twist, peel, pour. Our big 96-ounce jug, so fresh, so much more than more.
This
This fall, kick off your Sundays as Coach Jerry Burns and me, Ralph John Fritz, preview Vikings Today. Then CBS Sports will bring you all the Vikings action. Right after the game, call in with your own gripes or glory. Be a part of the post-game reactions on Vikings Locker Room. Later, little Marky Rosen takes center stage with Vikings Tonight. It all happens Sundays this fall with WCCO Sports, your Viking station.
You helped us take another look at America's attempt to organize its most important feature of its society, the family, the relationship. How are we going to do this? The Immoral Reverend is Robert Rimmer's re-entry into the world of books. A man who's responsible more than a few over the years. You remember? Yes.
Isn't this have your cake and eat it too attitude going to affect our children's ability to make choices that they have to make?
Not at all. No. Phil?
Yeah, hold on.
I think this phrase open marriage is a contradiction in terms. If it's open, it's not a marriage. Now, these people have some kind of an arrangement, but the essence of marriage is fidelity.
Are you there? I'm glad you waited. Hi.
Hi.
Go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, but I don't have a lot of time.
Okay, I just wanted to say that even though I'm not married, I've been going out with the same person for quite a while, and we have one of these open relationship agreements, whatever you want to call it, and it's great. And neither one of us are jealous, and it was my idea more than it was his idea, but it works, and I think it's the ultimate form of trust.
How old are you?
I'm 20.
And...
But I've taken a lot of classes in this area, and I see the divorce rate skyrocketing, and I'm scared of that more so than I am of this.
Yeah. Don't miss the overview here. We're not... please don't accuse us of selling this. But one of the points Mr. Rimmer makes is that the economy may force corporate marriage. A whole bunch of people... I mean, just look at housing. And he also...
Old age.
Old age. Look at the crowded loneliness.
Problem that the generation that's coming up. A lot of you are the baby boomer generation.
Hang on just a second. You're from Philadelphia area, are you? And what are your members of what?
Delaware Valley Synergy.
Synergy.
Right.
What's Synergy?
It's a support group for people who want choice, whether it's monogamy or different kinds of relationships within their marriage, without their marriage. And I just wanted to take a minute to thank Robert Rimmer because his books really, and his values really changed my life.
Tell me very briefly, what got you turned on to
this? The option and choice. I was married 20 years monogamous and was divorced, found Mr. Rimmer's books, the structure, the human values that he talks about in his books, open honesty.
You could have been the woman on the phone a little while ago.
I could have been the woman on the phone.
And the reason you aren't is because?
Is because I found a man who wants to share those values with me, and we've been in process, and people enhance our relationship when they come into our relationship. We know each other's...
Right. Now, either of you can call off some other relationship with each other, is that right?
That's right.
Aren't you people afraid of catching something?
Phil, can I talk about this? Let me talk about this. I think the disease question is very important, but I do think, and you're going to go, but monogamous relationships are more at risk, because I'll tell you this. When a man goes to the Shriners Convention and he sleeps with somebody for a night and comes back with something, that's when you run into risk. With us, we know who we're sleeping with. We're in committed relationships with them. We get to know them before we sleep with them.
Over here, please.
And men should wear condoms.
All right. Thank you. Thank you.
What about the people that you're bringing into your relationship? I mean, at what point do you tell them, look, I'm married, and this is just something that my...
From the very beginning, there's never any dishonesty.
The couple that's been married 23 years. How many different relationships have you had in that period of time?
Very few.
Yeah.
That's the point.
Well, I was wondering, the girl in the red, what, if children came, you have no children, right?
No, in fact, we're trying to have a child now, and I haven't been sexually active for quite some long time.
With another person, you mean? You want to make sure who's the father.
Right.
And have you told your other partner this?
Oh, yes.
And he's accepting his celibate life with you so that you can have a baby with your husband?
He's very supportive.
I see. Okay. Yeah.
What happens if the wife is not prepared to accept this?
Yeah.
You don't do it.
Then you don't do it. You either get divorced or you don't do it.
The marriage is the most important thing. You don't try to...
Let me get somebody who hasn't had a shot. I just want to... Yeah. I'm coming over here. Yeah. Go ahead.
I want to bring up a new issue. What about the issue of teenage pregnancy in this society and this open marriage type of philosophy?
I think it makes our children a lot more aware of what's going on, a lot more sexually responsible. They don't walk into a...
All right. Are you there? I'm glad you waited. Hi.
Hi, you talking to me?
Yeah.
Yes, I just want to say that I think these people are really pathetic and sad. You know, because I think it's perfectly all right to go look at another man or for my husband to go look at another woman. Yeah. But he comes home to me and I come home to him. And he's the best thing that ever happened to me. He's not only my husband, he's my lover, he's my friend.
We're very happy for you.
Yes, and I just want to say...
Hang on just a moment.
I'm sorry, I can't agree with the fact that we're making teenagers sexually responsible.
By this, you mean?
Yes, by this. There is no way that...
That's not the statement at all. The question was asked, how does it...
I think a Harrod would make them respond.
Go ahead. How do you mean?
Because you would have now a rite of passage at the point of Harrod, and prior to Harrod, or prior to a premarital conditioning program, then you could tell a teenager, here at 17, you will have an opportunity to experience sex without marriage.
Folks, it's official. The big mouth is now the fresh mouth, thanks to new super strength Polident. Now with a minty mouthwash ingredient, so it freshens up dentures as it cleans them. Try new Polident Green for a mouth freshening clean.
Finding a breakfast cereal with calcium can be a real mystery. You won't uncover calcium in cornflakes or in shredded wheat. The place to look is Total. 100% of 9 vitamins and a major source of calcium.
I've found a new product that I really like, and I want to tell you about it. It's Sofkins, the new personal cleansing wipe from Scott. You use them with your bathroom tissue. Sofkins are pre-moistened, so they cleanse you better, which is especially important if you're irritated or chafed or if you itch. And because they're pre-moistened, they feel better. You know, more comfortable. Try Sofkins.
New Sofkins, personal cleansing made comfortable.
Here, I want to show you something. Come on, it's about your furniture. Here's a typical chair, the way it looks before Park begins custom fitting your new upholstery. See this piece of webbing? It should be replaced, so Park does it. These springs, Park automatically reties them. At Park, we take pride in what we do, so you'll be proud of what you get. Call now during our famous 20% off sale, and you can recover any sofa or 2 chairs starting at just $183 complete.
So, she think it was worth a 2,000-mile trip to visit her first grandchild?
Are you kidding?
I'll check on him.
No, Mother, I'll get him.
Oh, Karen, he's wet. Sleeper, the sheets.
If you could buy a thin diaper that dramatically cut leakage, even overnight, wouldn't you try it? This is it. New Luvs Deluxe. Now with the Night Guard system. No diaper has ever worked like this. If baby only wet once during the night, almost any thin diaper would do. But only Luvs' new Night Guard system quickly distributes wetness throughout the padding. So when baby wets again, other diapers can leak, but Luvs can still absorb without leaking.
Everything's dry as a bone. That diaper you found really works. Yeah. You know, Mom, I just want him to have the best of everything all the time. I know.
Promoting a particular point of view.
Your moral reverend promotes this point of view.
We need new moralities.
We do.
You're searching for moralities in your book, The Human Animal. I'm searching for them, too. You ask all the questions. In fact, I would use your book in a human values course because you raise all those questions.
And Phil, there's an evolution occurring in the right side of the brain where we're all starting to feel more, and we have to deal with those feelings authentically, regardless of our relationship.
Services provided and promotional fees paid by the following.
Presenting the Volvo 700 Series station wagon.